All right. Let me turn this down. I know I always got a sage, no matter what I'm doing. Let me turn this down some. I just wanted to set the vibe. Start to feel yourself traveling. Because if you're here, you must want to go to West Africa or somewhere in Africa. But I'm focusing on West Africa. The East, getting over to the East, a little bit more of a longer journey, probably a little bit more costly if you're coming from the US. If you're coming from the Pacific coast side, you might be closer, but on the east side, the east coast of America, West Africa is the closest. So let's go. Okay. Welcome. This is a special edition to Get Into It with Amina. So you know, I'm going to pull some cards at some point. It's Get Into It with Amina. However, today I want to talk about, I'm going to give y'all, and I'm throwing in some extra stuff that I wasn't going to throw in. I'm going to give you not 7, but 8 tips on how to travel to West Africa under $1,000 budget. Now, I'm also going to give you 5 things that you need to avoid. Now, I wrote my list down because I said I don't want to forget nothing. I want to make sure I give y'all all the info. A lot of this information, for the details, you're going to have to hit me up. Let me know you would like to travel because quiet as is kept, I'm doing a little retreat to Guinea. Now, the reason why I call it a retreat and not a cultural arts trip like all the other people that are doing trips to Guinea is because my main focus is not on just learning the dances and learning the rhythms and then seeing little different areas. The goal is to really take in the country, the energy, the people, the nature of the country. So I'm doing a trip. If you want to know more about it, I don't want to give away all my stuff. I'm doing a meeting tonight, 5 p.m. Only a small group is invited with me. I'm not trying to take like 20 people, 10 people. I want to make sure I could focus on the people I have with me. We're going to do health and wellness things there. We are going to, well, I don't want to give too much away, but it's deeper. It's going to be a lot deeper than just dance drum. Okay. You're going to be immersed in the culture. You're going to really feel like you are one of the locals. You are going to really feel like you are one with the environment. And it may even spark you to want to do humanitarian things in that country. So with that said, before I even get into the countdown, one of the first things you need to know outside of everything else with traveling is passport, visa, vaccinations. Those should be outside of your traveling budget, and you should go for those at least 3 months before you're gonna travel. I made a mistake one year. I applied for my passport right like the month before I had to leave. They told me it was going to be delayed. I backed out of my trip only to find out it showed up and I could have gone. So you don't want to end up like that. Also, I've had the first time I ever went to Guinea, West Africa, I waited to the last minute to get my visa. And now they have a whole different process where you actually, your visa and everything is done when you get there, but you do have to apply before you go, and you can apply online. I couldn't do that before. When I first went in 2005, you had to mail in a document, the letter, and your documents with it, and your passport. So they could stamp it and do all that stuff, put the visa in it before you left your country. Mind you, I waited to the last minute, so now the day of my trip is here, I don't have my passport. And they contact me and say, you gotta pick up everything at the airport. And I was like in tears, running to this FedEx or whatever at JFK to get my passport and my visa so I could get on this flight. So you don't want to be last minute. You don't be last minute in it. You don't. All right. You want to travel stress free. You want to feel like you got all the time in the world. You want to be in the airport If you drink, sipping your wine. If you don't drink, reading your book and just relaxing. You do not want to have to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay. So right out the bank, right? I'm talking about money. Right from jump, if you are thinking about going to West Africa 3 months in advance, at least some people say 4, but I say 3 is good. Get that passport if you don't have it already. If you already got your passport, do the visa online, but you can't do your visa if you don't have your dates you're traveling and where you're staying. They're going to ask for that information. They're going to ask for your passport number. So you need all of that first, okay? You should save the photo that you take for your passport because the visa people are going to ask for that same type of photo. Now, that saved me some time when I got to Guinea because some people had to sit there and take another picture, whereas I already had mine. They was like, oh, okay, they just put my visa in and sent me on my way. But if you don't have a passport photo for your visa, when you get to the country, you're going to have to wait in line with all the other people who didn't think to do that. All right. And these are just before you're planning your trip tips. You do have to budget your passport. You have to budget that visa in. Visa's about, it's not more than 90 something dollars. I don't think it was that much. Passports, they're not more than $100. What will cost you a lot is the yellow fever shot. You need a yellow fever shot to get into most of Africa. That, I don't recall having to pay that much in 2005 when I went, but when I went this year, it was close to $300 for that shot. Now, if you have Walgreens near you, see, I live in Statesville, not that many people going to West Africa, but if you're like in New York City, you're in LA, you're in a place where the city is active and it has a lot of immigrants in it, there may be Walgreens that will give you yellow fever shots at a discounted price or for free. Whereas here, that was not possible. Walgreens didn't do any out leaving the country vaccinations. Also make sure for specifically Guinea, not necessary for Senegal. If like some of the neighboring West African countries, not necessary. But Guinea, you will need the COVID vaccination. And that stopped me for a minute too, because I was totally against getting it. But then it was like, almost felt like they trying to make it difficult for us to get to West Africa. That's not going to stop me. And so I got the COVID shot, and you could get that for free on the vaccination. The other thing with that, though, is get it well in advance, because if it's not at least 2 weeks into your system, by the time you're leaving the country, they'll stop you. Okay? Because the vaccination doesn't really start to protect you until about a week or two after you got the shot. So that's just advanced things that you need to already budget and already prepare for. Okay? Now, traveling in and to Guinea, under $1,000, let's go. Now, if you don't travel with a group on a group trip, which when I last went, I did not go on a trip. I went on my own. I was just lucky. On my way there, I ran into another person I knew and all this stuff. And I had a friend there that was going to meet me. So my first tip is flights. Flights is where you will spend a lot of money. That is usually the worry, because even when I went on trips and I was a part of a camp, the camp part was easy. Like, oh, 600, 800, 1600, blah, blah. And then it was like, oh, wait, I got to pay for the flight too. Then it became like, whoa. Now, my trip is very reasonable. It's about $800 a week. If you stay 1 week, 800. You stay 2 weeks, 1600. It's up to you. But a lot of these trips are 900 a week, 1,000 a week, to be in a trip. Like if you want to go with people, and I mean with someone who's going to guide you around. And that's usually, well, my trip, I can't speak for everybody else's, is usually all inclusive once you're in the country. So flights, you can get into West Africa very cheap. The problem is trustworthy companies. Air Morocco is the cheapest way to get into Guinea or West Africa. You can get a flight for 600. If you book early enough, you can get a flight for less than that. Like, their flights into West Africa are very cheap. But here's the catch. Here's the catch with Air Morocco. They have the longest overlay known to mankind. You will spend, now if you want to visit Morocco and you're interested in the culture, this is the flight for you. You will have a 24-hour layover where you will have a whole day to see the country if you choose to. I also was told by some friends that they will put you in an airport hotel. They will give you food. So that's beneficial. That's great. If you want to see Morocco. If your goal is to go straight from where you're at into West Africa, that's going to be an annoyance. I have to sit here for a day. The lowest I saw was like 10 hours, 9 hours. So you will spend a lot of time there. You have enough time that you can actually go tour the city a little bit, if you don't mind having to go back through everything, TSA to get back into the airport. So Air Morocco is the cheapest one, but I know a lot of people who have had trouble with them. They're very strict with their ticket rules. They don't really do refunds. They will, however, change your flight date and do stuff like that. Air Portugal, second cheapest. I took Air Portugal going into Guinea's trip. It's really quick. You almost don't feel like you traveled that long, especially if you leave from JFK. It's a quick flight. It's not that expensive. I think I paid under, paid under 800 for the flight. And the only thing with Air Portugal, because if a flight is cheaper, something else has to be the reason why. Air Portugal was fine. The problem was when we ran into bad weather over Guinea, because I foolishly traveled during rain season. So you can already know what the heck we were experiencing in the air. But I just had to go. That's when I had the money. That's when God was like, go. So I had to put my life in God's hands. And I made it there, made it back. But Air Portugal, the customer service, it was like felt like they were just dumping a bunch of Africans or people that wanted to go to Africa in Africa. And for a minute, we had to stop in Senegal because the weather was too bad to land in Guinea. Now that's not a problem because we were clapping like, please, brother, whoever's flying, stop trying to land because we feel like our lives are in danger. We can tell there's a lot of turbulence. He lands, he tells us finally, now mind you, all this time during the flight, there's no communication. We're just going through heavy turbulence and trying to figure out what's going on, looking at the stewards and stuff for some kind of like sign, and they look a little nervous. And then finally he announces, after we were circling Guinea for a long time, that we can't land safely. We got to land in Senegal. Now that right there made me angry. You have us back here in a panic, no communication. We land in Senegal. You're thinking, okay, make these people comfortable. No, they let us off into the airport, and now they put us in the hands of the Senegalese, who are looking at us like, we're not the people you flew with, while we're complaining. When are we getting out of here? We're hungry. We have people who are waiting for us in Guinea, and how do we contact them? Blah, blah, blah. What I will say, Air Senegal is probably one of the best ways to go in. It'll take you straight from JFK, right into Senegal, right into Guinea. The reason why I say Air Senegal is great, the customer service was wonderful. Yeah, at one point, a brother there did get a little upset because there was a whole bunch of people in his face yelling things in French and English and Susu and, all sorts of languages because we don't know what's going on. But they took care of us. They took us to a place where they could put us, like, here, you guys can stay here. The Air Portugal said they're not flying y'all out till 7 a.m. Mind you, I think it had to be like 12 midnight. So we're sitting there going, really, we're sleeping here. But they gave us free vouchers. We could go eat. We could get something to drink. They made sure we ate and we had something to drink, and it was cool. 7 o'clock in the morning, people are upset again now. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Air Portugal has no remorse. And this was a flight that had a whole lot of children on it. And we get on the flight. They said, no, we're not. I heard someone ask for water. They said, no, this isn't your original flight. Y'all are not getting food. Y'all are not getting anything to drink. I said, whoa, really? After y'all just dumped us in Senegal? They did not care. So right there, me and the brother that ran into each other and ended up on that flight together, we both said, Air Portugal, never again. However, for that price, I might do it again. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't, to me, it's like, what's the odds you're gonna get the same pilot, the same crew, or whatever. But Air Portugal was pretty decent until that situation. Had we landed in Guinea on time and the weather was fine, I would have had no complaints. Okay, but I do suggest Air Senegal. Now, the first 2 times I traveled to West Africa on my own, I paid way low. I think I paid like, people were like, how did you do that? $500 to get into Senegal, and then I paid $200 to get into Guinea from there. So I hung out in Senegal for a while with some friends, and then I went and met one of my drummer friends in Guinea. How did I get my ticket for under 2 tickets to 2 different countries for only like $700 something? Sky auctions. There are things online, and I don't know if they still operate, but if they do, people in my meeting later tonight, I will be giving you the links. Sky auctions. I would go on to these auctions and just put my information in. I would see they had always had auctions for Dakar. So I was like, I could get into Senegal cheap. And then from Senegal, it's only like 100 and something, 200 max to get into Guinea. It's like a 2-hour flight. So I would do the auctions, and I was winning, because how many people are trying to do that and go into Africa? Most of them are doing the auctions trying to go into the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and Hawaii, but West Africa, not really. So I was winning auctions, like really low price tickets. And that's one of the main secrets, I would say. Auction flights, you can travel cheap. And that's not just to West Africa. Number 2, place to stay. If you go to West Africa and you are trying to stay in a hotel, it's going to be way cheaper than in the US or in any other country. I was able to book a hotel for 1 week for $700, but the locals told me that was crazy. They said, that's expensive. No, the people I was talking to, no, get your money back. So I got my money back. They were very nice, mind you. Unlike hotels in the States where you try to get your money back and they're like, oh, you're not getting it all back. They gave me all my money back. And what my people suggested to me was rent a room. Rent a room in one of these big villas, or there's apartment buildings. Yeah, they don't show you that about West Africa on TV. You always see poverty. There are some nice apartments up in there with 4 windows, balconies, views of the ocean and everything. $20 a day. Some of them less than that. If you want AC, then maybe you're paying $120, $130 a day for AC. But if you just go with a fan, $20 a day, you can get a room there. And real easy. Not dirty, clean room, clean space. Okay. That to me, I think when I last went, I did 2 weeks. I rented a space, a room in a villa. It didn't cost me more than $250 for the 2 weeks. Yeah, $250 for 2 weeks. So that is where I'm going to be bringing my group. We'll be staying there as well. But it was clean. You were right in the midst of the culture, which is what I always want. I never want to go to West Africa, at least, and feel like a tourist. I like to go and feel like I'm a part of the community. And we were right in a villa where next door was an artist facility. The guy who owned the villa, he made drums. He sold drums, so you got to see people making drums every morning. Now, if you value your sleep, you might not like waking up to the sound of somebody beating on a drum. But it was beautiful. We were near a mosque. You could hear the prayers being done every few hours. There were also a dance company right around the corner rehearsing. Could go right around the corner, see them. There was a tailor right around the corner. I got me some outfits made. Very affordable, might I add, and I ain't even up to that. But it was only $2 for 2 weeks. And I was right near the stores. I could walk right out, get me a Fanta, get my water, go up the block. Taxis and everything are there. Now, let's go from that to number 3. Food. When it comes to food in West Africa, it is very easy to get food for a little bit of money. Now it depends on what you eat and what you like and what you're willing to, where you're willing to purchase. Restaurants, you could go to a restaurant. I didn't go to a restaurant not once while I was in Guinea, at least. In Senegal, I've gone to restaurants in Senegal before, but in Guinea, no, I didn't do that. What I would suggest to keep your money low is go into the market, find somebody that place looks pretty clean, buy their food, and if you don't like it, keep it moving. If you find someone who you like, stay with that person. I had a sister, she made the best fish soup. I loved it. I would go to her every day. Every day, same girl. After a while, she was like, hey, friend. And I could trust her. I watched her make it. I knew she was clean. I knew she was washing her stuff. I saw that a lot of other people went to her, so I knew that she was the one, like she was popular. Also, knowing somebody there. I also had a friend who knew a friend who was cooking food. So I gave her some money. She would make my food for me every day of my trip if I asked her to. It's really good to have a local cook or go to the market. Restaurants, you can go there. They're going to be more expensive for one. And also with restaurants, you're going to have to deal with the homeless because they will be outside waiting. And that could kind of, if you're from New York City or LA, or like I said, major cities, you're used to that. If you're in a fancy restaurant, you got the poor outside. For me, I could never eat like that. I'm eating and I'm looking out the window at someone who's looking back at me and waiting for me to come out so that they could ask me for a handout. But that's how those restaurants were everywhere, every time. Even going to the bank, they're waiting, So you got to be a little aware of that. Okay. But go on my trip. I got my girl that's going to be cooking, local, somebody I know, I could trust. Also, I would suggest if there's a family with children, that is local to you, where you're staying. This is if you're not with me and you're just going on your own. You need to learn the Susu language or French and make friends with the people that you're around, that you're staying around. Show that you're not there like on some, I'm above you guys, and you're there as a part of the community. And you could get offered to eat, and then you just give something. Here, okay, I'm gonna come every day. Is that cool? And I'll give you this much. All right. And you could go to the market and get yourself a whole meal for like $5. You could spend in American dollars about $15 a day on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And breakfast, not even I wouldn't even say $5 because you get some bread, some eggs, and an egg sandwich, whatever. Very affordable to eat. Very affordable unless you want to be fancy. Okay. Number 4 tip, ground transportation. Taxis versus renting a car. I would not suggest, even if you know how to drive, that you rent a car because the traffic is off the hook. And the only people that could get through it are the taxi cabs. Everybody in their regular cars look angry. They're doing evil things like trying to crash cabs, like knock you off the road and stuff like that because they're angry because they can't get around. And gas, we got to intersections sometimes where people were arguing over gas because the price went up or whatever the case was happening. You don't want to have that stress. You do not want to worry about gas and getting around in this car. And then the terrain is rough. So all you need to do is hit a big pothole and there go your tires. And now you're going to be owing this rental company. Taxis are the way to go. I traveled mainly by bike. I took the motorbike taxis. The only thing I could say I did wrong with those, I should have had my face covered because I ended up getting a little eczema. My skin got very dry from the wind whipping me in the face. And, other cars are by you, so you're getting the exhaust in your face. And it was not good for my skin. My skin was like, whoa, what's happening here? But now I know I got to put on a mask, wrap up my head, whatever. But I was trying to be cute, in all honesty, because when you're on a bike, I don't know, it's something about being on the bike. And when you're riding through, everybody can see what you got on. So they're looking. And my ego was like, no, we ain't putting on no face mask. Yeah, I paid for that. So next trip, face mask will be on. But the motorbike taxis are probably the best way to travel, but also dangerous because they follow no traffic laws whatsoever. Okay. They will ride down the middle line, the dividing line of the two traffics going in different directions. They'll ride you right down the middle to get you to where you got to go quickly. So a lot of the drivers don't like them. Okay. There's also a little taxi thing that's kind of outside-ish. It's like, reminds me of a little mini cart. Like maybe you would see the guys in Manhattan with the carts and they're running, pulling people, or riding a bike, pulling them. This is actually like a little car like that, and a three-wheeler. But it's nice. You get to breathe the air. It's good. It gets you where you got to go. It's like a dollar van in Jamaica, Queens, New York. You know, and then you're like, okay, driver, get out here. You get out where you go. You give them their little chump change. Now the taxi cabs, the cars, I hated them. I did not enjoy getting in a cab. First of all, just like, it's almost just like the dollar vans. If you've ever experienced a Jamaican dollar van ride in Jamaica, Queens, where they try to squeeze as many people in as they can, and after a while you're like, driver, yo, we're full, let's go. Same thing, except now you're in a car where it's like 5 people trying to squeeze in the back, 3 people sitting in the front, and you're burning hot. You're like, please open the windows, please, let's just hurry up. I had a breakdown in one of those cabs where I was like, I got to get out now. I got to get out. My legs are cramping up. I got to get out, and ended up getting out and getting on one of the bikes. And I was happy after that. But that's the cheapest way to get around because they got so many people they're squeezing in, and then those people get out and then another one squeezes in. So they get their money. So it's very cheap to travel by those cabs, but I wouldn't suggest those. I would suggest the motorbikes, and I would suggest the little buggy car thingies that are out. You're out and you're not in a car, you know. Those are my suggestions. Clothes shopping, number 5, or items, period. Do not go to buy anything without a local, okay? I would not suggest it unless you've been there a few times. Don't go to no market and try to buy something without a local. The prices are very reasonable, but they might finagle it up if they could tell you're a foreigner. They'll be like, oh, okay, this person speaks English, or they're speaking French and they look like they're French, you know, and they will buff up the price depending on where they think you're from. I never went to a market ever when I was in West Africa, Senegal, Guinea. It didn't matter unless I had somebody that was from that country that could go back and forth and then tell me, like, they're saying this much, what you want to pay. So I was able to get me like 3 dresses. I think I paid these long, nice dresses, like $10, $15 each. That in America, I told the guy, I said they would have been selling these in America for like $20 each, and I'm getting them for like $10 each. So go with someone. There was something else with that too. Yeah. Tailors are great too. You can get material for very cheap. Get the material, go to a tailor and let them measure you and make your outfit. Where my people will be staying is a tailor right around the corner. So he made one of my outfits that everybody liked, even though locals were like, hey, I like your outfit. And I was like, oh, okay, you know. But I'm telling you now, material and tailor, you get yourself some nice outfits without going and spending. Where I walked into somebody's shop and I saw a nice dress in the window and she told me $50. And I was like, what? $50? Sure. And the material wasn't even all that. But that's the difference between an open air market and going in the store, which I'm going to get to in things to try to avoid. Also be ready to barter. I used to do that all through Senegal. I was bartering. I was giving up shoes that I knew, and I felt a little bad. Sneakers that were like $2 in America, I'm getting a pair of nice leather sandals, and it's a fair exchange to them, you know, because they don't have that there, and it's fair to me because I gotta pay like $100 for that where I'm at. But bring things that you can trade, clothing that you don't care about, shoes you don't really care about. That'll get you some stuff too when you go into the marketplace. Moving on to number 6. guide, a local guide. A local guide is important. Let me drink some water. Okay. A guide. Okay. Now, I would say the guide should be someone that you feel comfortable with. I do know one in Guinea. If anybody's going in and traveling alone and they want somebody that could translate French, English, Susu, let me know. I'm the director of Suma Center, Sekou Suma. He does do that. But I would suggest you do your research. If you know anybody who's been to the country before, ask them. If you know anybody who got family there, ask them. Do not, if you have never been there, just go without somebody that's local. I'm telling you, you'll be taken advantage of. You'll end up having no money. You will spend more than $1,000 because that wherever you go, they're gonna read that you are not from there, and prices will be buffed up for you. But when you have a local, somebody that's from there, they're a little bit more like, oh, okay, I got to deal with this person who knows exactly what this stuff is worth. So I can't really buff up the price. Okay. I'm telling you, if you can't get a guide, then you need to go on a trip with a group of people. Okay. I was lucky enough the last time I went to Senegal, I had 2 friends who had just moved there. So I literally had one of them meet me at the airport with her husband. Then I went to stay with the other one, so I didn't need a guide because I had 2 African Americans who had relocated there that actually knew the land and were able to get me around. Number 7, fun nightclubs. Yeah, you're going to want to go out. You're going to want to party. Besides the local Dunu bars and where I was staying, people were having their birthday parties right in the street. Like you could literally walk through. I had to stop myself from jumping into people's parties sometimes. Like, oh my God, oh, they playing my song. I want to jump in, But if you want to go to a nightclub, Wednesdays, unless you want to be there with 1 billion people and the drink prices are hiked up and the entry fee is hiked up, go in the middle of the week. It's hardly anybody in there. Your drinks are like cheap because they just want you to stay and have a good time. And you are able to have a better time because you don't have 50 people bumping up against you. But if that's what you want, fine. Me, I wasn't looking for that. I just wanted to have a good time with my friends. And so they said Wednesday's the day. And one of them is married to someone in the military. So he was like, Wednesday. And if he's saying it, then I'm like, okay, he knows. And we went up in there. It was like 3 other people. It was a total culture shock for me because coming from where I come from, I live in North Carolina, but I'm originally from New York City. I ain't never walked up in no club that only had like 3 people. In the middle of the floor, some at the bar. But I loved it. I was like, yo, I could be free up in here. I could just dance how I want. We had a good time. Wednesdays, if you're going to go out and have fun. All right. And there wasn't that much of a crime element around. Whereas you might have to worry when you're coming out of a crowded club if somebody's going to try to snatch your purse, try to do something dumb, just like in any city. Now, this is my extra one. Number 8, bringing home goods. Because these are all the things I'm mentioning are the things that will bring your trip over $1,000. Okay. You could get into the country for under a G, but if you don't take heed to these tips I'm giving you after the flight tip, you will spend a lot of money. Okay. Bringing home the things that you bought. Keep them under a certain weight and bring a bag, like bring a real big suitcase. But if you pack it up, make sure it's with stuff you're going to trade, stuff you're going to leave, so that whatever you buy, you can put back into that bag and put it under the plane. That way it goes back to where you came from for free. You don't have to pay customs. You don't have nobody searching through your items and telling you, oh, you got to pay for this, and this. Make sure whatever you get fits in your luggage and can go under the plane for free. That's how I got a whole suitcase full of clothing back for Mama Muminatu Kamara, my big sister. Right under the plane, no customs, didn't have to worry about nothing. And that's how I planned on getting my drum back. And also one of my bros, one of my drumming bros was there, and he told me initially, because I said, you got these drums, how you getting them back? He's like, oh, I'm just gonna put this under the plane, and then this brother's rolling with me, he's gonna put one or two under the plane. They make him wait, and then I'm gonna stick some extra stuff that I bought up in there with him, and we good to go. And I said, oh, because here I am worried about customs. I bought a Doom Doom drum. I was like, how am I getting it back? So make sure whatever you get will stay under a certain weight, and then you don't got to pay nothing to bring your stuff back. Simple as that. Now, things to try to avoid before I let you go. And like I said, I am going to pull a card or two, but I ain't telling you what it's going to be for yet. Things to try to avoid. Number one, corrupt cops and military. They want to be paid off. I probably had almost arguments with like 2 of them. And if I didn't have a local with me, it could have got ugly. The first time was I wanted to go to the airport departure space with my friends. And the military guys was like, no, give me money. Literally, you should not have to pay for somebody to walk you to the departure where you're leaving. But we gave, because I started to beef. I was like, why I gotta pay you so that he could walk me to the gate and blah, blah, blah. He said, no, don't do that. Gave them like $5, $10, and so that we could all walk to the gate, give hugs and kisses. Then there was another jerk sitting there that said, no further, because he wanted a handout, but he was already sick and sinusy. So I said, God's already working on you. But corrupt cops, that if they feel like, that's why I said, don't rent a car. Don't rent a car. If you're driving around, you looking fancy, they could see through the window that you are not a local or that you got money. They can stop you and ask you to give them some money, especially if you don't have IDs on you at the time. You're not carrying identification, which you should at all times. But you got to be careful with that, too, because you don't want it to get confiscated. Yeah, corrupt cops and military exist all through West Africa. It's not just Guinea. First time I ran into them, it was in Senegal. And they were asking for money because it was a bus full of tourists riding around. So be aware of that. One of them tried it with me in the airport. Asked for my passport so that I could go up to the sitting area and wait for my flight. And then he goes, you American? Yeah. He says something in Susu. I didn't understand, but thank God. Thank you, Poppy. Muminatu's oldest son was with me, and he answered the guy. And then the guy let me go. Because I already said, I was like, if you asking me for money, you about to have a problem. Give me back my passport. Funny thing about him, side note, the dude that's asking me for the passport don't realize he had some big bug was crawling up next to him. I said, look at how God handles these nasty people. And I just let it keep on crawling, took my passport, like, hurry up, give it back, and went on my merry way. Number 2, know the local law. If you don't know the local law, you could get swept up in curfews, spots that have curfews. One of my god sisters had it happen to her. I never experienced this. Knock on wood, God forbid, inshallah, it will never happen to me. Because I never go into any country I don't know without somebody that knows the country. But you have to know curfews. You have to know the taxi rules. Now, I did ride into an area where you are not allowed to have 3 people on a bike at one time. And we had 3 people on a motorcycle taxi. I didn't know what was going on when the 3rd person jumped off. I'm like, what's happening? And then he tells me, he starts talking to the guy saying he was not on it in Susu. And the guy's going, I saw you. I understood that much. Saying, I saw you guys. And they had some words, but the dude that I'm with, everybody knows him. And some cop came from across the street and started fighting for him, like arguing with the dude. And he was like, oh, this is my big brother, introduced us. And then the cop let us go. And the locals didn't like that. They were looking at me like, who is that? But yeah. You got to know the local law or you'll end up in trouble, or they really would rather have money. If they find out you're not from there, you get into trouble, you give them money, they'll let you go. So you don't want to end up broke having to pay off law enforcers because you didn't know the rules. So know the local law if you're going to go by yourself. Okay. 3 to avoid: supermarkets, malls, and stores. Stay outdoors. You go in a supermarket, those prices are nuts. You'll be looking at lotion, bottles of lotion that are like almost $5 in American money, and then this little drinks that are like a little can and you're paying like $5 or $6, $7. avoid the supermarket. I made the bad mistake. Went to one to get lotion because my skin was chapping up from me always wanting to be on the motorbike. And yeah, that joint, little tiny bottle, little squeeze tube thing was like $5. I said, where I come from, this would have been $1.99 in a Dollar Tree or in Family Dollar somewhere. Here I'm paying $5 for it. So don't do that. Go to the market, get the natural stuff, get some shea butter, and or bring it with you. I'm telling you now, come with the stuff that you need. Don't go to the supermarket unless you have to. Like if you're there alone, you can't find somebody to cook for you. You buy yourself one of them hot pans. You could buy those in the outdoor market too. We got one for cheap so that we could reheat our food when it cooled off. So we didn't have to keep buying food. Save money. Get a hot pan, buy a little pan on the street, and you could cook your own stuff. That's also a way to save money. Number 4, bad neighborhoods. You have to know where not to go. You have to know when to be on guard. Most bad neighborhoods, I notice, tell on themselves. They're the place where you see crowds of people, or the location where you see a lot of people homeless and begging. That's where okay, I need to hold on tighter to my stuff. Be careful who I talk to, who sees me pull my money out. Do not carry shoulder bags, women, or my feminines. No shoulder bags. Make sure if you do, it goes across your whole body. It can sit in the front and you can hold on to it. And I give that advice even if you're walking through a city here in America. Don't walk around with your shoulder purse thinking it's all good. Maybe in the South, but not in no big cities, okay? Fanny packs are good, but even those, you want to keep them across your chest. You do not want them on your waist where somebody could come behind and just snap your thing loose and take it. All right. And I almost ended up staying in a bad neighborhood because the apartment that was there was so nice. But locals told me, no, that neighborhood's no good. And I was like, oh, okay. And ended up where I was, which was way better. Very nice place. Very nice. A lot of kids around. Nice energy every time. Last but not least thing to avoid, flights that aren't flexible. In this day and time, anything could happen. We got COVID we had to worry about. We got now this damn monkeypox. I'm starting to think they're creating these things. Let me shut up before YouTube flags me. I'm talking about the C word. I should have said the C word. But yeah, make sure you got a flight ticket that's flexible. And I paid the extra money to make sure that my ticket was flexible. It was insured. If there was any emergency, if the C tried to pop up again or something and my flight had to be changed, make sure you have a ticket that's flexible and you don't have to worry like if you have to change the date. All right. It's a little bit extra, maybe like $20, $30 extra on your ticket. Do it. It's worth it. It's worth it so you can be worry free. You ain't got to be there stressed out. OK. And that's pretty much how to keep your budget under $1,000. Cheap flight and cheap way to stay. Less than $200 to stay for 2 weeks. You're eating food that's like $5, $15 a day to eat. And you just traveling around in a convenient way rather than trying to be fancy. Now, if you want to come and have the tourist experience, then your trip's going to be more than $1,000. But if you're coming through and you really want to feel like you are a local, you are a part of the community, then follow my steps and you'll be good. Or go on my trip. Now, what I wanted to do really quick to wrap things up is I'm going to pull a card and I'm going to let you know what the vibe is for you traveling, possibly by 2023. Okay, I'm going to do 2 pick a cards and it's going to give you an idea of whether or not the road is clear or if it's not, what you need to do to clear it up so that you can travel. All right, so let's do it. By the way, the music being played is by Fore Bangora, Fakoli 1, the first album. I actually helped to write out each song. I didn't get no credit though, because he couldn't spell the stuff. And I wrote out each song in the booklet, what it was about, each rhythm before he sent it to the publisher. So I'm bringing that up because I ain't getting no credit for that. But anyway, yeah. That's what's playing in the background, just in case YouTube wants to try to flag me. I do not own the rights to the music played. But I did help in getting that album together. So y'all can't flag me. All right, so let me see. I'm going to show you 2 items. You choose one. We're going to make this really quick. We got orange calcite for number 1 and citrine for number 2. Orange calcite or citrine. All right, number 1 or number 2. So my travelers who were feeling drawn to the orange calcite, I really feel like you are very excited. Like maybe you're here because you are thinking about going. Okay, you're really thinking about traveling somewhere in West Africa because orange calcite is very good for energy. If you need an energy boost, that's why I had to keep me a piece around. So if you're drawn to that crystal, I mean, it has other uses, but I really feel like you're energized and you're ready to do what you got to do to get the ball rolling. Okay. So let's just see if there's anything in the way. All right. We got 10 of Wands reverse. So usually upright, it's like you're feeling burdened, weighed down. And in this picture, this person is trying to leave burdens behind, but look, they're still carrying a whole lot of stuff. Reversed, what I'm hearing is releasing some of your burdens. All right. So maybe that's where you're going to get this energy boost. Some things you're just going to have to stop doing if you're going to focus on this traveling, this trip. Try not to take too much with you. I'm hearing, try not to do too much to where you wear yourself out trying to prepare. Page of Cups reverse also. Yeah, I'm really getting, follow your heart. With Page of Cups reverse, I feel like somebody may come and be in your ear and try to talk you out of this that you're feeling very excited and passionate about maybe going. And you may have somebody in your ear who's going to try to act like they're coming from a place of love, trying to tell you like, you want to go to West Africa? We got the monkeypox going on. Trust, I had people that tried to talk me out of it, talking about the C, the big C. And now look at me, I came back, I'm fine. So I just feel like you just have to let go of some burdens, extra things that are weighing on you. It could be work related. It could be relationship related. And ignore the chatter of those who try to tell you, no, you can't do it. 7 of Pentacles reverse. You also have to be patient. Maybe you're not seeing the funds quick enough coming through, but they're acknowledging that they've been planted. You have done the work. So the funds are coming. If this is what you want to do, you will get, they'll show you the way. Okay. Try not to seclude yourself too much and harp on focus on this too hard. Some things you just have to let happen. You just have to let it flow. All right. My number 2s, if you were drawn to the citrine, you're a little worried about money, but this, just being attracted to this, and this is a good crystal to have during Lionsgate time right now. That's why I got my citrine on. But this isn't raw citrine. But this is a good crystal to have. It attracts money. So I feel like you're stressing about the funds, but they're going to come. You're stressing, but it's like spirit's coming through to say the money's going to come. Just start investing in your travel plans and we'll keep helping you. We'll keep giving you what you need to go as long as you stay in that vibration of I'm going, because what's for you, can't nobody stop you. Look how I was supposed to go last year, December, but I ended up going in June. Couldn't nobody stop me. Couldn't no energy, nothing stop me because I was supposed to go. And I feel like anybody who sees this video, you're supposed to go. Okay. Now let me see if there's anything in your way. Okay. Okay, we got Knight of Cups reverse coming through. You might be going through something with a mate. I'm feeling don't let this mate stop you. I do feel like this person might try to feel like you are traveling, going or pulling your energy away from them. I don't know. It could be a man or a woman. Just know that's a masculine energy, and they may try to be like, don't go. That's going to be one of your challenges, is this person. 5 of Wands is coming through as well, bickering. This yeah, it just feels like too many people are going to be in your ear or in your business. If you go with a group of people, make sure it's no more than like 5 or 6 or 7. You need to be in a small group to go to West Africa. But I do feel that somebody or more than one person is going to try to tell you you can't do it or don't go or question why that's your goal. But if you look, that fire up there, that person at the top is reaching it. It's what has them going. It's what keeps them driven. It's something that they're supposed to reach for. So ignore all the competition or people that are telling you no, don't go, or other trips that might be like, go with us or go with us. Set your eyes on what you want to do and focus. Yes, you are a high priestess, my pal, too. Y'all are intuitive. You already know. And if you have in your mind already what you want to do and you focus on that with all your spirit, it will come into fruition. Yeah, wow. Yeah, you're really going. New cycle, a whole new world. You are going to be so happy if you make the leap and go to West Africa. It's going to be a whole new cycle beginning for you. I see the sun card underneath the world. You'll be very happy. You may, though, find that you're going to have some strength. Maybe the environment or the terrain could be a little rough for you. Just be prepared, for making sure you take care of your skin, making sure you have the right sneakers and shoes. I did not. This last trip, I did not bring any sneakers. So the rocks and stuff up concrete, which I like to nickname concrete, the concrete jungle, my feet was hurting at the end of the day. Like, oh my God, I should have just brought these sandals and these flip-flops. Why didn't I bring my sneakers? I don't know what I was thinking. Make sure you got some good sneakers. Yeah, but just be wary. I feel like there is going to be someone running in, trying to stop you, trying to say don't do it, or you can't, or feel like you're leaving them. Maybe there's something waiting for you in West Africa, and you have a mate or someone you're already pulling from that's going to feel like you're going to run into your soulmate. I don't know. But that was some interesting energy for both pals. I wish you guys luck on your journeys. If you have any questions, let me know. If you are still going on your own and you're not going with a group and you want a tour guide, let me know. Sekou is available. Well, just give me your dates and I'll let you know if he's free to help take you around and help translate. Okay. If you need any suggestions for places to stay, where to take classes, where to eat, whatever, let me know where you're staying and I got you. Otherwise, if you're thinking about traveling with me, I'll be with Sekou. So like I said, I don't go without no locals. And we got a family that supplies. We have a tailor that will work for you. Everything will be brought right to you. You really won't have to wander around. But of course, we will take you around. But that's all later for my meeting with the people who are really serious about going. And if that's you, you could comment below or find me on Facebook. Amina Hextall. Not that hard to find me. I think my page is Amina.Hextall. My personal page. Inbox me and or email admin, ADMIN, @steamholisticarts.com. Let me know you want to go and I'll send you the link for the Zoom meeting tonight at 5 p.m. EST. Peace, blessings, and all that good stuff that comes from being part of my tribe. Later, y'all.